Hello, Vlog family. Hello, I'm starting this video by doing a little voiceover slash video clip because I'm working on editing it and I took these clips and never explained any of them. The beginning of this vlog started out with Dan and I and all of our family that was here from Alabama. We all were in Illinois at the same time, and we went to our friend Sarah's house for a cookout slash setting off some fireworks. And the kids were having fun with sticking the sparklers in the ground, so the like little sparkler things were like going off in the ground, and it made it look like little torches. So between the kids and the adults, they decided to do some like weird tribal chant dance thing around them. So here is some of that. And then the very next day on Monday, we all drove together up to Wisconsin to visit Dan's grandma, like I had said at the end of last week's vlog. And we all met at this park, and I took a panoramic shot of this beautiful lake that we were at, and it was so peaceful. And just, it was a gorgeous day out, and there was a light breeze, and it was just so pretty. And while we were there, we were all sitting together under this gazebo, and there were birds' nests above it, and one of the birds' nests was very active. So I was trying to get footage of the mom and dad bird coming in and out of the nest, and it seemed as though every time I tried to get a clip of the mom bird sitting on the eggs, that she would keep hiding in the nest, so we didn't get to get a very good clip of her. And that was a very wonderful time visiting Graham and all of our family, but then we came home, and the very next day we decided to have a cookout, because what do you do when you're exhausted after a vacation full of fun and family? You cook out and invite family over. So that's what we did. So here's all that. Dan and I are working on cooking out today. We've broken out the smoker again, and Dan's currently sitting out there. We've been at it for about 4 hours already, actually. We are working on smoking a pork butt, and then later on we're going to add to it chicken quarters and chicken thighs. So, and we're hoping that we time it all so that everything will be done around the same time, and we're aiming for 6 o'clock. It's currently, what, 2:30?
Yep.
Yeah. So I wanted to vlog because it's been about 4 hours that the pork butt has been in there. And so we're going to be checking it and potentially wrapping it in foil. Do we have the foil?
Nope.
Should probably get the foil.
Oh, yeah.
We'll grab that. We're going to be checking it, checking the temperature, and hopefully it's going to be cooked enough, because we found out apparently like pork shoulder, like pork butts like that can stall, where it gets up to a certain internal temperature, and then it stops, like the temperature stops rising for several hours when you're smoking it. And they said that's because the fats from the meat start melting off or whatever, and the fat starts cooking off, but then it essentially like causes the meat to sweat, and that cools the outside of the meat down, and that this like stalling of the internal temperature can last like 4 hours before it actually will then start climbing again. So they recommend wrapping it in tin foil, and that will hopefully help prevent it from stalling, and it'll help cook it all the way through a little better. So that is what we are going to try to do and see how it goes.
We're about ready.
I think so. About as ready as either of us are gonna be.
Yeah, so I haven't opened this since 4 hours ago, and here comes Mom.
I didn't even realize Mom had left. Goodness gracious. Snuck out.
All right. Should we wait until she gets here?
Yeah, we can wait so she can see too.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I need a fork and a knife.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Oh, buddy.
So that's only halfway. So let's see how. Yeah.
See what that reads.
We can close this.
Yeah, while we let that. Okay, so it's definitely not at 160 yet, 'cause it's already slowed that much down. But we can also push it over to the warmer side if we need to.
Well, I don't think that's totally necessary.
Okay, I just know because it's been cooling off a lot.
Right, that's true.
Very cool. That's exciting. It looks really good.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely not the same thing you get out of a slow cooker.
No, absolutely not.
So
basically we're just waiting for this now because this is in the pork. So we're waiting for this to reach 160, 165, and then we're gonna wrap it in tin foil so that we can hopefully avoid that stalling process. And it'll still be cooking through. And also they said after about 4 or 5 hours, the meat can't absorb any more of the smoke. So you don't need it to necessarily like be open air to get all that smoke because it's not going to get any more in it. So wrapping it in tin foil isn't going to hurt it at all. So once that gets up to where it needs to be, then we can wrap it again and be good to go.
okay.
Is the garage door shut then?
No, no. I want it to burn down a little bit further before we close it.
Those are the remnants of supper.
So,
It ended up being delicious, but we are still learning so much.
oh my goodness, yes.
There was a lot happening. I'm gonna help finish clean up supper, and then I will come back on and explain what we are learning and what we are still trying to figure out. Good morning. It's the next morning. I forgot to pick my camera up after I ended that clip because I was tired. So basically, everything that went down yesterday, like I had said, the food turned out really good, most of it. Dan started up the smoker and got everything hot. That took about a half an hour to really get the temperature like exactly where we wanted it. And then we dropped the pork butt on there at 10:30. And we let that thing go, and Dan was able to maintain a steady heat. He was able to regulate like the degrees of the heat just a little bit here and there if he needed to by opening and closing vents for air movement. And he was getting a really solid grasp on what needed to be done. And he was adding coals every once in a while to kind of help keep things going. Like, he was really getting a groove going, and he was figuring things out really well. And then at 4:30, we added the chicken, and we had a lot of chicken, and we took it directly out of the fridge, which I think a combination of both of those things was the big error. Because what happened was, as soon as we dropped the chicken, I mean, we had to lift up the main door lid anyway, so that let basically all of the hot air out. So we knew we would have to kind of bring the heat back up anyway, so we were like, that's fine. So we dropped all the chicken onto there, and at the same time I was wrapping the pork in tin foil so it could keep getting warm but not necessarily get any more smoke in it because it couldn't retain any more smoke. So I was doing that while Dan was dropping all the chicken. Since then, Dan was not able to maintain the heat. It was not heating up where we needed it to get to. And it was just like the coals, we had so many coals in there and they just were not heating. And Dan had probably a third of the amount of coals in there for the pork shoulder, and it was getting it twice as hot as what we were able to keep it at. And it was very frustrating. He couldn't figure out what to do. He couldn't figure out like what was causing it. And I mean, it didn't help that he had been outside all day at this point tending to this, because it's not an electric smoker. You can't just set it and leave it. He has to stay there with it basically all day. That was very frustrating. we were having friends over. We had our friend Sarah come over, and we had Mark and Allison and the kids come over, Dan's family. So they all got here, and we all took our turns going outside and talking and hanging out with Dan. And finally I went out there, and Dan and I were talking about it, and we think the temperature wasn't raising where it was supposed to because of the chicken, how much it was, and maybe how cold it was when we put it on there originally, that it just started sweating, and it made it very difficult to raise the overall temperature. I don't know for sure. If you have any experience with smokers and like smoking meat with charcoal and with like wood burning smokers, if you could please let us know, because we want to learn and we're excited about what we're learning. It's just a process. So what we ended up doing was, at this point, the pork shoulder was fully cooked through. So for that to be fully cooked through, it has to reach like 160, 165 degrees. But all that means is it is safe to eat. What you really want is you want it to get to like 195 to 205 degrees is like the ideal temperature to get it up to, because then it's like fall apart pulled pork style pork. So we ended up getting it up to, I think when we took it off to eat it, it was at, because we had a thermometer in it the whole time, that was at like 185, I think is what it finally, the highest it got to. So it didn't pull apart so easily, but it still pulled apart pretty easily, and it was delicious. What we ended up doing was, when it got to be 7 o'clock, the chicken was only supposed to take 2 hours, so it should have been done at 6:30, but come 7 o'clock, it still wasn't done because we just couldn't get the heat up to where it needed to be. So at 7, Dan put the grill grates on top of where all the coals were in our little smoker box, and he let those heat up a bit, and then he just took the chicken from the main box and put them in batches onto the grates in the smoker box and essentially just grilled them to finish. And it only took maybe 5 minutes for each batch, if that, like closer to 3 minutes for each batch, because they just needed that tiny little bit more. So we ended up doing that. They were still good. They were a little dry, the chicken was. The pork was delicious. That was fantastic. The chicken was a little dry. Dan, I think he said he wanted to add barbecue sauce to it, so we might try that next time. I don't know about adding sauces to smoked meat, how that works. I haven't looked that up yet or not. I'm kind of skeptical, so we'll both have to do some more research on that. But that's how our smoking adventure went yesterday. Our meat smoking adventure went yesterday. Definitely, there's a big learning curve, but we are learning, and it's good. And we do still have a fridge full of leftovers, and we made potatoes, and we had salad stuff, and Allison brought over a bunch of fruits, and we have guac, and we have a lot of food. So today, my plan is to do nothing at all. I think all of our family is very exhausted from the amount of travel and energy from the past few days. My plan today is to not go anywhere, not do anything major, and just relax. Made lunch for myself using some of the pulled pork that we had left over, and made myself some tasty nachos. I just finished making these. These are 2 identical car seat covers that I made. I'm going to my friend Amanda's baby shower on this coming Sunday, and she had sent me a Pinterest link to this, and I told her I would make her one, and she said she trusted my judgment as far as like fabrics or whatever. I figure while I'm making one, I might as well make one for my little sister as well, so she can have a car seat cover too. So I made 2 of them. They're the exact same. They have this really cute elephant pattern on the outside, and then on the inside is this cute love you to the moon and back. There we go. I went ahead and laid this one out so you can see how big it is. So it's like that, and then these 2 straps just hook to the top of the car seat, and then it goes like that right over the car seat. Very simple. And it looks really cute. It's not reversible because the straps are only on this side, but I mean, if you don't want it completely covering the car seat, you can flip it up, and then you see this side. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. I have to refold this one now. Those were very, very cute. I enjoyed that a lot. Now I just hope that they stand the test of time and last both my sister and my friend quite a while. Hello! I have been working on editing all day. I just finished editing the clips for this vlog and I am well ahead of schedule because before this I edited the clips and the video for my Wednesday video that went up the Wednesday before this vlog goes up, and right before that I edited the clips for my weekly vlog that went up right before that Wednesday vlog went up. So I have edited 3 videos today. I am very happy with the progress I am making, and I need to work on now, after I get this finished editing and uploading, I'm going to be working on writing the script for my Hunchback of Notre Dame comparison video that I'm hoping is going up the Wednesday after this vlog. That should be the order that everything's going up. So with that, I'm gonna end the vlog here because there really isn't anything else that's gonna go on today. If there is anything exciting, I'll either tack it on the end or put it into next week's vlog. But I hope you guys have had a good day. I hope you enjoyed watching all the little adventures of learning how to use our smoker. And again, if you have any tips at all, by all means, let me know in the comments. If you know of any good videos I could watch, let me know in the comments, because we are very much noobs at this still, and any advice is welcome advice. So I hope you guys have had a good week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!